Katie, did you really get a divorce? I overheard some of this from Mom and Dad. Now that I think about it, I never did tell you, did I?
Actually, just last month, Liam and I got a divorce. There were a few reasons behind it, but there was no working our way around them.
Dang, that's freaking hilarious, actually. I can't believe things happened just like I imagined they would with you getting divorced only a few months after marriage. People say that beautiful women only have 3 days before their man gets tired of their looks, right? And no matter how beautiful you are, Katie, you can't just expect to keep a husband around with your looks. So, no wonder things didn't last. Everyone should know by now that it's more about what's on the inside than what's on the outside when it comes to women, huh? In other words, just because your face is nice, that doesn't mean Liam really felt that attached to you internally. Honestly, I'm not sure how a handsome and elite man like Liam even got married to you in the first place. That's what happens when you're nothing more than looks, and now that you have a divorce under your belt, you're screwed.
Hey, Katie, your older sister just had a divorce, and you're not even going to try to comfort her?
Who is wanting to comfort you? If anything, I'm happy that you got divorced. The more unhappy you are, the better I feel about myself.
What did you say?
Ever since you were a teen, you've always lived in the spotlight due to your good looks, right? And all of the people I had a crush on went to you because you looked so pretty. Because of you, I was always crying myself to sleep at night, knowing I would never be able to get a man with you around. But now the tables have finally turned. The fact that I'm now doing a ton better than you at this game called life really does bring great tears of joy to my eyes. After all, I was able to get married before you, right? And right now, I'm pregnant with the child of a man that loves me. Right now, I'm living a life that's tens of times more joyful and exciting than yours.
What? You're pregnant now? Well, that's some really good news. Congrats. How many months are you along now?
5 months now, and that's why, starting next week, I'll be coming back home to Mom and Dad's house.
What? You're coming home?
When I talked with Dad about it, he told me that you've hunkered down at their place ever since your divorce. The fact that your reason for being back home with Mom and Dad so sad compared to mine made me laugh my butt off.
I never said that I was sad about what happened. About having to come home to Mom and Dad's house.
You trying so hard to look tough now only makes you look more depressing. I'm sorry you just got divorced from Liam and all, and are really down in spirit. And well, I just went and showed you how happy my life is, which is probably something you didn't want to see. I hope you don't take your anger and jealousy out on me when I come back home with my baby.
I would never take anything out on you. I made the right choice focusing on becoming a better person on the inside instead of the outside like you. When it comes to marriage, it's all about what's on the inside and not what's on the outside, right? I went and studied cooking at school, learned how to clean and do laundry. I also studied how to behave like a woman. After studying all of those things, my skills grew as a woman. I was able to get married early and start a wonderful life with my husband. Yet you, who only ever focused on your beauty and such, never made it past dating men and have to live with your failures for the rest of your life.
You're starting to become really energetic over there, Mia. Are you really that happy about the fact that I had a divorce?
I'm not happy about the divorce itself. I'm happy that I finally finished on top, above you, and am living the life you wish you could have. Now, starting next week, I'll be seeing you back at Mom and Dad's house. When you see my large belly carrying my baby, you can break down and cry some more.
Hey Mia, you know about how Katie will be coming home today, right? That's why I've made sure to put a lot of your things in the storage room down in the basement.
What? While you've been out doing things? I took the chance to move a lot of your stuff, and starting today, your room is being used by Katie. Which means you'll be living in the basement from now on. Hold on a second, Dad. Why do I have to go and live down there? Isn't her room still open and ready for her to live in?
I thought you noticed that I turned her room into my study. I wasn't going to make someone as important as a pregnant woman sleep on the couch. That's why I'm having her take your room from you. A shameful divorced woman like you can go live in the cold and dark basement now.
Excuse me, Jesus Christ, you really have lost everything you once had. When you were younger, I could brag about you all day. Because you were my cute little girl, but after just 3 months of being married, you ended up getting divorced and had to come all the way back here. Because of you, your mom and I have become a laughingstock to the whole neighborhood. Are you freaking kidding me? Who the hell is at fault for me having to come all the way back to your house?
Excuse me?
Both you and Mom started to say some terrible things to Liam the moment you both learned that he was making over $100,000 a year. You both started to talk about his money all the time and asked when he was going to give some of it to you both. Then when he would try to refrain from talking about his income, you both started to tell him that he had to send you both $3,000 a month in order to pay for you guys to remodel the house. And after weeks of you both constantly badgering him for his money, he finally drew the line and said we needed to get a divorce.
Shut your mouth. We gave up our cute little girl so that he could have a wife. So we assumed he would be willing to give us some money in return for you.
Am I some kind of object to you, then?
Yet instead, that bastard returned you back to us. We don't need some kind of divorced daughter in our family. You are worthless to us now. After all that work getting your mom to give birth to such a beautiful girl like you, and after all the work I put in to make sure you had the best cosmetics to boost your beauty even further, now all you are to this family is a shameful burden that we don't want to be seen. All you're good for is your face. And had you used that face to get us a man with lots of money, we would have been pleased. Then he could have used his money to take care of your mom and me, as well as the house. We were so close to it with that bastard. But he never once sent us the money we asked for and sent you back to us with a divorce.
So that's how you've always thought of me, huh, Dad? The fact that all you could think of me as was a way of making money makes both you and Mom freaking jokes.
The only joke here is you. A beautiful lady with a divorce record loses almost all her worth in this world. All you have is a good-looking face, while inside you're nothing but sadness. You got all of our hopes up for nothing. All you've done is bring great shame to this family. And that means that from now on, your mom. I will be putting all of our attention towards Katie and not a drop of it into you.
What? I get that. Unlike you, Katie isn't all that pretty. I never had very high hopes for her before. But she did get married before you and now has a baby on the way. Which means that very soon, your mom and I will have our first cute grandbaby coming from her. She's the best daughter ever. Her husband isn't making as much as I hoped for, but with a little push, I'm sure we can get him some promotions. Thank goodness your mom and I had 2 daughters just in case something like this happened. You're being such a dick right now that I'm actually starting to really hate you. How can someone like you even be my father? Honestly, thinking about it thoroughly, you and Mom, along with Katie, should all be ashamed of yourselves.
How dare you say that when you're the one living in our house? Anyway, you're going to be living down in the storage room in the basement from now on. There you can think about the person you really are to this family.
I went ahead and tossed all your things out of the house now. So could you get lost as well and don't ever come back to this house again?
What? While you've been out of the house playing around, I went and had all your things tossed out of the house. Now go out there, collect all your things, and get lost, you pain in the butt. Why is this happening to me now? I've been making sure not to get in your way. While you're back home getting ready to have your baby, I've remained quiet about the fact that I need to sleep down in the basement now.
Just having a divorced woman like you in the house is more than enough to get in our way. Just having the aura of a single, used-up woman in the basement pisses me off. You just being around us has left this house smelling like sadness and despair. Mom and Dad have been saying the same things as well. They would like for a shameful daughter like you to get out of their house as soon as possible. They've also been calling you this household's parasite.
Excuse me?
Of course, you divorced women are all terrible at being kind to others. I heard that Mom and Dad have even been looking for another man for you to marry. Yet you continue to say no to every single one of them. And that's why all three of us have been sighing about you being nothing more than a pain in the butt.
I never asked Mom or Dad to go out looking for another man for me. So of course, I'm going to be telling every one of them no. And to make things even more creepy, most of the men they bring me are in their 60s. To them, all they care about is that the man has money and nothing else.
Are you really in a position to choose what man you get next? Especially when you're only good for your face and have a history of divorce under your belt now? I think Mom and Dad have finally come around to understanding it. Just because their daughter looks good doesn't mean that she'll be able to bring them any fortune after getting married to a rich man. That all you are is useless baggage. Just yesterday, they told me that the only daughter they need now is me, since I'm someone they can still feel proud of.
What?
In the past, Mom and Dad only ever cared about you because you had really good looks. Them spoiling you all the time like that really made me jealous of you. But finally, after so long, they both are finally looking at me. They've even started asking me if I'd like to move back in with them for good with my husband, of course.
I see, so really, right now I'm nothing more than said useless baggage. But forcing me out of the house out of left field like this.
I don't care whether this pisses you off or not. Women like you, who've already had a divorce and are single now, deserve to live alone. Get out of the house right now, you're parasite.
A few days after that conversation, Katie was told by her husband that he wanted to get a divorce and that he'd be letting her keep full custody of their newborn baby. After the divorce, the money that came from her ex's child support went directly to Katie's parents to use instead of her and the baby. This soon led to Katie blowing up in front of both of them. She began to throw things around the house in a rage against her mom and dad's selfishness. Katie and her dad really got into it during that fight, and all their yelling about how terrible of parents they were, and about how terrible of a daughter she was rang out through the neighborhood. Those words would leave an everlasting impression on the area, as all of the residents now refer to Katie and her mom and dad as trashy and shameful. I sure do feel bad for the newborn that lives in that house with those three horrible people. But hopefully, it makes it to an age where it can move out of there on its own and never have to be around any of them again.